Today in the news, we've got a whole lot more ray tracing, a sharp razor, and more. What's up guys, I'm Snows, and this is your boot sequence. Let's get started with Nvidia. A few weeks ago during their GTC presentation, Nvidia had announced that they would add support for DirectX Ray Tracing for more of their GPUs. Well, if you update your drivers now, you can ray trace on the GTX 1060, 6GB version only, 1070, 1070 Ti, 1080, and 1080 Ti. As for the 16 series of cards, the GTX 1660 and 1660 Ti both support it too. So how does it perform? Well, like trash. On pretty much all of the testing done by Nvidia, even the 1080 Ti has trouble breaking 50 FPS, with most of the results in the 30s. With the release of the drivers, Nvidia also added a couple of tech demos to try out on their website. You can now try out the Star Wars demo, Atomic Heart, and Justice on your PC if your GPU is on that list. Plus, if you don't have an Nvidia card, you can mess around with some RTX on and off demos on their website. As usual, this is where I make a distinction on Nvidia's implementation of DXR. Remember, all those titles and demos have been developed in partnership with Nvidia, and they could just work better on RTX tech because of the way it was designed and implemented. Then I usually point out that the engines and implementation matter more, and I still believe that. We've seen Crytek's Neon Noir, a demo that shows great ray traced reflections performance at 4K with a Vega 56. Nvidia, on the other hand, released all of those demos just to show you that if you have a 1080 Ti or lower, you're now a peasant that has equivalent performance to a console. I'm just kidding, I'm sorry, I just like to poke fun at the subject because we all know that for now at least, ray tracing brings pretty much nothing to the gamer. Sure, you get pretty visuals and it might enhance the single player experience, but in my opinion, it doesn't enhance it enough to make a huge difference. Some games might add ray tracing, but still lack other elements that make a game feel real. I still see this as a stepping stone though. I think that in a few years, ray tracing will be everywhere and GPUs will just be able to handle it much better. All this doesn't mean that the RTX line of GPUs is bad. They still are the top performers. It's just a shame that they're so expensive. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Moving on, it looks like Sharp might have a leg up on Motorola. If you have been following the smartphone game, you know that Moto is working on possibly reviving the Razr, except with a foldable screen. Well, yesterday, Sharp had a prototype of a clamshell style smartphone that reminds me of that Moto Razr. It's kind of funny, you know, Sharp making a phone that looks like Razr, Sharp, Razr. Anyways, the device shown has a 6.2-inch AMOLED display with a 1440 by 3040 resolution that apparently has gone through 300,000 folds. That's more than 30% over what the Galaxy Fold has been stress tested for. They have made it clear that a commercial version of the device probably won't be here for a few years. Hopefully by then, we'll have burned all of the godforsaken notches. Next up, in wacky hardware, Acer just unveiled their newest Predator laptop, the Helios 700. Normally, I don't really talk about laptops, but this one has a sliding keyboard and it's weird. They call it the Hyperdrift keyboard, and when it moves out of the way, it reveals what looks like intake fans for extra airflow into the system. It also moves the trackpad down and over the edge of the laptop, letting it flap down as a palm rest. Honestly, I like the concept, but here's what I would change. Just make the whole trackpad area removable. I mean, we can use our own mouses. Heck, make the keyboard removable, the screen removable, put the base in a larger case for airflow, stretch the screen to 24 inches with 144 Hz, and I just described the desktop PC. Seriously, it looks cool, but at $2,700 US, I'm passing. Lastly, it looks like Google and Xbox are having a bit of a back and forth in the game streaming scene. Stadia made their stance clear with the very forward "the future of gaming is not a box" text on their website, and now an executive from Microsoft just responded to that statement. While not directly going after the box comment, Mike Nichols simply stated that emerging competitors like Google have cloud infrastructure, a community with YouTube, but they don't have the content. Those are some fighting words, but unfortunately, they're pretty hollow. I mean, we saw a few partners at the Stadia event, and there is a very high likelihood that we'll see a full Stadia presentation at E3. I just hope that Google will skip the whole exclusive thing that Microsoft does every year.
Exclusive. exclusive.
Anyways, guys, that concludes it for today. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave them down below for the new segment. As usual, you can click right here to see the latest video, right here to subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. Stay frosty, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. It's so cold in my mouth, I have trouble talking.